this is Tentamon from Digimon. Make sure you subscribe to Dimsy's Domain.
Valdemon's prophecy, the war between the light and the darkness. Have the Digidestined been discovered already? Kabuterimon's debut, and we see the return of Devimon in the new Digimon Adventure 2020 series. These are the headlines coming out of episode 5 Digimon Adventure 2020 titled The Holy Digimon. So let's go over the good, the bad, and the straight up ugly from this episode. Let's start off with the good. We got a lot of backstory and lore in this episode, which I personally love because we lacked that in the original Digimon Adventure. Half the episode was basically a bit of backstory, and the one telling the backstory, making their grand appearance through their magic feather, was Valdemon. Now, Valdemon says quite a lot of stuff, which I found so fascinating, hence why these points will be in the good parts of the episode in my book. But with some of the statements made by Valdemon, I feel more questions arise. The angels are the ones that govern the good of the digital world. So if the angels are governing the good, does that mean that the evil Digimon are the ones governing the bad? We see Valdemon project the flashback of the war that happened a long time ago between the light and the dark Digimon. We see the holy angel Digimon there, all in their silhouetted glory, as well as all the partner Digimon in their mega form, including Omnimon. Now, of course, we didn't get the full story because Ogremon and his minions interrupted it, but guys, apparently there was a war back in the day, so I'm assuming, and considering who we see right at the end of the episode, it's quite obvious who the angel Digimon were at war with. I'm almost certain it's the demon counterparts to the angel Digimon, who were the main antagonists of the war that happened back in the day. So could we see Daemon return? I have done a video on Daemon returning, so check that out. I mean, who else could the angel Digimon be fighting against? We see Omnimon as well, so were the Royal Knights involved in this war as well? Guys, let me know what your thoughts about this war in the comments down below. I would love to know what your thoughts are. Towards the end of the flashback, we only see 6 Digi-Eggs. Where are the other 2? See, this is what I mean. I love the world building and I love the lore, but you end up with more questions than answers. Could those 2 Digi-Eggs that were missing be TK and Kari's Digi-Eggs? Because Valdemon then tells Tai and Sora to go to the Cloud Continent, where we will find the Light and Hope who fight amongst warriors. So it has to be Patamon and Gatomon, right? In that continent, which is why there were 2 Digi-Eggs missing in that flashback, because Gatomon and Patamon are in a separate continent, which was the Cloud Continent. I mean, in the original, we had the crests in a completely different continent, whilst the Digivices were given to the Digidestined, so those devices were given to the Digidestined separately in the original. So stuff like that does happen. Even with Gatomon's Digi-Egg being separated in the original, it could be something like that happened to these 2 Digi-Eggs. We go back to the man of the hour, Izzy, who discovered that apparently that half of Tokyo is out of power. Each power substation main systems are stopped, but they can't cut the power. And how is there still internet in that scenario? Could the guy we see right at the end have something to do with it? We see Telemon attack Waymon and Izzy, and Dokukumon attack Tai and Sora. Ogremon appears, so when watching at real time without knowing the ending of the episode, you start to wonder, do the villains already know who the Digidestined are and their whereabouts? Because Valdemon also said the angel Digimon know the Digidestined, so there's a chance that the dark evil Digimon may know them as well. Izzy shines in this episode again. He was using himself as a distraction to save Waymon, and then later in the episode he asks Tentamon to run and save himself. So should he be the one wielding the Crest of Courage instead of Tai? Final little question for you guys in the comments. Who's more brave, Tai or Izzy? We see little callbacks to the original when Tentamon first digivolved into Kabuterimon. Izzy was using his laptop then to help Tentamon digivolve to Kabuterimon to fight Andromon back in the original. This time, however, he was using his laptop to analyze the fight patterns of the Telomon, when he then discovered that the ones causing all this little chaos and all this mass confusion was that little devil Soundbirdmon. We then see the debut of Kabuterimon, and the music was just majestic, just like in the previous episode with Birdramon. And in these epic moments when the first time the partner digivolves into champion, they don't need the digivolution sequence. We just need to see them grow into their champion form, and with the epic music in the background, it just works and it adds to that epic feel to it. Greymon and Birdramon enter the scene and they start taking out all the Dokugumon and Soundbirdmon. But interestingly, Ogremon didn't jump into the fight. Maybe he was ordered not to and was just asked to observe the strength level of the partner Digimon. Kabuterimon then takes out Soundbirdmon, which then gets all the Telomon back to normal, and I just love the banter between Izzy and Kabuterimon. Izzy's getting all emotional and Kabuterimon just takes the piss out of him. Basically, it's a good mix of personalities with these 2 characters. We see a dark silhouette right at the end, and here he is, the big bad villain. Just like in the original, he was the first major villain, and in this one he is as well. The Return of Devimon. Not only him, we also saw Palmon and Mimi at the end, so we can all expect a character episode for Mimi in next week's episode. So that was all good in the episode, and it was just, again, another solid episode, especially with the moments where Agumon and Biyomon were crying in that little flashback with Valdomon with the war. It was another good episode, especially with the first half of the episode being the backstory and the lore behind the war and all that. Again, I love that. So with all that being the good parts, now let's go over the bad. I feel there were parts of this episode that were missing, as we saw more Digimon were coming in to attack Tai's group, and then after Kabuterimon took out Sandbirdmon, we immediately see Tai and the others perfectly safe away from the temple and back into the jungle. How did that happen? Is it because Kabuterimon defeated Sandbirdmon in his place? That's why all the Digimon there retreated, so it gave Tai's group the chance to escape. Even then, that's quite a weak of an explanation for me, because the battle on Tai's group was getting more and more intense, and then you just see them instant transmission their way back into the jungle. So I found that quite annoying. And is it just me, or are the kids abnormally brave in this series? Like Izzy at points in this episode was falling head first, and he still wasn't screaming. Like the kids are basically the Avengers and Valdomon is basically Nick Fury. But those are the bad points. I didn't find anything to make it into the ugly points of this episode, but overall, despite a few issues, it still was a solid episode. Please check out my Bring Back Devimon video where I talk about how they can bring back Devimon efficiently into the new series. Please hit that notification bell to stay up to date with our content, and as always, care for nothing.